Hey, welcome in, everybody. Tuesday here with Longshore and McKnight. So glad you're a part of what we're doing here on this Tuesday. I am in my network control. Looks like Barry is back as well.
Yep.
Confetti still, I see a little in your hair, maybe on the back of your shoulder from the big conference championship tournament win last night.
Yeah, late last night, it feels like, because it feels like it is early this morning. The Troy Trojans go back-to-back in the Sunbelt Conference tournament as Sunbelt champions, 77-61 last night against Georgia Southern.
TV opinion, just saying.
Yep. They win it big. I can't tell you what the line is, although I know what it is. But, yeah, Troy's going back to the NCAA tournament. We were fortunate enough to be able to set up a remote broadcast location down on the floor. You know, they have us up in the concourse at the Pensacola Bay Center. So we got down on the floor, confetti everywhere. There is, I'm saying it, but I'm not sure. I think that our buddy Jason Jones is live chatting, still sitting on top of the basket, you know, spread eagled on the basket up there at the Pensacola Bay Center, whooping and hollering. Jason, I think, finally came down from that with a net around his neck and all that kind of stuff. But I can't be sure. And Troy is going to go to the NCAA tournament, so I'm going to be broadcasting on this show from somewhere, who knows as of yet. The Selection Sunday show is coming up this Sunday. Then the first four, of course, will be on Tuesday and Wednesday. The first round will be starting on Thursday. And when you fill out your brackets, you can put the Troy Trojans in there and, whatever you want to in there. But really take a lot of care in what you do in the Final Four, John, because that could win you a diamond.
Well, it certainly could,
nice
Barry. And you got to be on top of that. You need to start looking, planning, maybe thinking about some teams that you might not have paid a lot of attention to when you come up to giving us your 4 for 4 in the Final Four. Of course, is what we're going to be doing this year. And if you can give us the 4 teams, and we'll have a tiebreaker, which will be the total number of points scored in the championship game on the April the 6th, I believe is the Monday that they'll be playing for the national championship. You could win a 4-carat lab-grown diamond from our friends at Marguerite's Exquisite Jewelry. Get those entries in beginning Sunday at 6 p.m. through Thursday, March the 15th at 11 a.m. because that's when the tournament starts. First game goes then. Just get them into Longshore and McKnight at gmail.com. That's Longshore and McKnight at gmail.com. Give us the final 4 teams that you think will make the Final Four and, of course, the score in the championship game. Total points. You could be the big winner of that contest, brought to you by our friends at Marguerite's Exquisite Jewelry, Bama Budweiser, Phoenix Physical Therapy, and the Montgomery Regional Airport.
There are still conference tournaments that are going on. There are several, including the SEC, who haven't started. 2 of John's favorite mid-majors punched their ticket. The Troy Trojans and number 6 seed Furman.
Furman. Yeah, Furman. Did I see that? I think I did. Yeah.
John's got his FU hat that he only wears in front of certain people.
True.
They upset number 1 seed East Tennessee State in the SoCon tournament. I'm not even going to say that there are teams in there that John has not heard of. But what I am going to say is there are teams that are winning championships in conferences John has never heard of.
I'm going to take you up on that.
Yeah.
Don't ask me to name them, but I'm going to I'm taking you up on that.
For instance, the America East tournament, the Atlantic 10, the CAA, not only the MAC, the MAC, but also the MEAC and the MAAC. the Northeast. So, yeah, there are tournaments out there that are not among, the top of the mind awareness, but heck, it's still fun. We're ready to go.
I will say this, Barry. I actually flipped it over to ESPN2 last night. It caught my attention. When you turn on your YouTube TV, it kind of gives you like the programs that you watch the most often, on the top. So, of course, obviously there's Fox News and
Law and Order.
And
yeah.
And then I had it already
Flavor of Love. No, that was.
It had the quad box already set up for me. I guess it just knows my pattern. And I saw the Troy logo in the Power T in one of the boxes. I went, oh, yeah. Let's see what the Trojans are up to.
And they were up to
I got to tell you, you know me, first thing that I noticed, pretty good crowd there.
Yeah.
On a Monday night, I thought, man, they're showing out in Pensacola.
It was good. Big shout out to the Trojan Nation because there was a huge number of fans. The place seats about 10,000. It's a legitimate arena. But in the semifinal win over Southern Miss, ton of fans, a lot of fans there last night. And again, I was on the floor broadcasting the post-game show, literally on the floor, right behind the riser. And there was, I've become philosophical about it because evidently I can't escape it. Everybody jumping up and down, folks screaming and yelling and all that, people hugging me while I'm doing the broadcast. I'm standing there. I'm not behind the desk or anything. And, they're all asking, hey, you going to talk about this with Longshore tomorrow morning? Are you going to be on the show with Longshore? People say, I don't know if I told you this, but there was one guy the other night. We were walking out of the arena after the semifinal. He's a Troy guy, and he came up to me. He's an older gentleman, and he said, "Are you Barry McKnight?" And I said, "I am." And he said, "I'm from Tallahassee, Alabama," shaking my hand. "I'm from Tallahassee, Alabama, and I listened to you and John on radio for years and years and years. And let me tell you something. That John Longshore would make me so mad all the time." And I said, "Well, I got to tell you, you're not the Lone Ranger there." He says, "But I like you. I'm an Auburn fan, but I'm a Troy Trojan." And his grandson plays for Troy, and he says, "I really like you. You do a great job." I said, "Well, thank you very much. But that Longshore makes me mad." So I said, yeah, I get it.
It kind of reminds me of the day this guy stopped me in the grocery store and said, "Hey, aren't you the guy on the radio? Man, I love that Barry McKnight. Man, he is great. Man, I love that guy." I'm standing there like, well, what about me?
Yeah.
Guy didn't say one word about me. He just talked about you the whole time.
I just can't get away from it. It's all right there. But
well, I'm glad that people come up and say hello and recognize or have been listeners or watchers or viewers, I guess I should say. We greatly appreciate that.
Unfortunately,
that's usually the reaction that I get. But hey,
But there is a reaction. Yes.
Yeah.
That reminds me of, in Pirates of the Caribbean, he says, "You must be the worst pirate I've ever heard of." And he says, "But you have heard of me." Like or dislike, spell my name right. And,
that's right. Exactly. Just spell my name right when you put me in the newspaper.
This is what I was also getting while I was down there. And of course on the show as well. Man, is Auburn going to make it?
Oh,
that one I don't have an answer to, John.
Could Auburn and Troy maybe meet up in the tournament? Play-in game. I'm sure
Auburn fans would be overjoyed just to get in the tournament.
Would they? What really? Can we get a little reaction to that on the River Region Straw chat line? I mean, I said it yesterday. I mean, don't you just want to roll the balls into the equipment room and start washing the jerseys and saying, I think we need to go ahead and get ready for next year?
Well,
really?
Our buddy,
you want to extend this?
our beloved partner Plainsman Preston. His name dictates, where his fandom lies. Mm-hmm. John says, Auburn fans, would you be excited to make the NCAA tournament? Plainsman Preston says, no. Auburn will not make it. Yeah. Bill from Baltimore says, listen, given how many times Lebo, Barbie, etc. I'm sorry, Tony Barbie. Given how many times Lebo, Barbie, etc. made the tournament, I'll take every instance. And of course, Ty, who's an Auburn fan, says Auburn doesn't deserve it. They may, I don't know. Right now, Auburn heading into tomorrow's opener in the SEC tournament up in Nashville, Auburn, really, they're 16 and 15 overall with a really tough schedule, 7 and 11 in the SEC. And they're in the tournament as the number 12 seed out of 16. Doesn't sound like an NCAA tournament.
Yeah, Barry, sometimes, it's you don't want to talk about it. You don't want to bring it up. You need to. It's kind of like having an intervention with your college buddy that, hey, buddy, you need to reel it in a little bit. I mean, it's kind of tough when you first get it going, but once you lay it all out there, you go, okay, I think you're right. I feel better about it. Yeah, let's move on. Same thing with Auburn basketball. I mean, really? Do you really want to prolong this? Do you think you're going to make the Final Four? Really? Seriously? Yeah, I guess there's a chance. Yeah, maybe, but it's not very good. And I know this has been a very loyal, dedicated fan base, but I don't see them traveling to Nashville this weekend for that 2:30 Wednesday game tomorrow.
3 o'clock.
3 o'clock tomorrow, or traveling to Dayton for a play-in game, or wherever else.
Hey, guys, we're going to Spokane, Washington, or whatever.
It's been a tough go. The coach is catching a lot of heat. Just go Kalen DeBoer. Just, go silent for about 6 weeks after the Rose Bowl game. Just do that. Just go hide, go MIA for a little while, and then, pop back up around the 4th of July.
The first round games, first and second round, you know how it works. The first and second round games are in St. Louis, San Diego, Philadelphia, Tampa, Portland, and Tampa, is where, people are projecting Troy to go. Portland, Oregon, Oklahoma City, and Greenville, South Carolina, where Troy's been before. Oh, and Buffalo, New York. Auburn fans, you, if all of a sudden your name gets called and you're going to Buffalo, you know how they do the selection show, John, where sometimes, they'll have a remote camera. CBS puts out a remote camera at some of these sites where you're having watch parties, and Troy's going to have a watch party, big watch party. And they say, and the Oklahoma State Cowboys will take on the numbers 15 seed, blah, 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 and they show the players, hey, and all that kind of stuff. Don't put one in Auburn, If you feel like you got to put one, send some intern with an iPhone, and have him just there and everything. And the Auburn Tigers will play Queens University in Buffalo, New York, and the Auburn.
Ooh, Buffalo. I mean, you got San Diego, watch, I can handle that, and then Buffalo, really? Oh, Greenville, South Carolina? Nobody, what's up with that? That's where Duke will end up going, I'm sure. Thinking about that, couple of things. Number one, if Troy does go to Tampa, you need to do some advanced scouting for us, Barry, since SEC Media Days are in Tampa this summer. Find some good locales for us to check out while we're down there. Number two, speaking of cameras at watch parties and things of that nature, I don't want this to come across as that's beneath us, but has there ever been a watch party in Tuscaloosa for anything? I mean, I'm trying to think, like football playoff, NCAA tournament in basketball? If there have been, I just have missed it. I don't watch a lot of that kind of stuff. I'll see it on Sports Center, I guess. Hey, check out this. It's Old Dominion at a watch party. It's always teams like that. I don't know if you got any video footage of the Crimson Tide sitting around a 58-inch flat screen waiting for the name to be called. I'd like to see it. I just find that interesting. Watch parties. What happens if you don't get called? You have a watch party and you don't get called.
I
it's
know.
Kind of like being at the NFL draft and you're still in the third round and thinking, what are they calling my name?
Yeah, you're Aaron Rodgers and you're thinking, everybody keeps showing you again and again and again. That's got to be tough. I know it's happened. But I don't know of anybody specifically that I can talk. You're sitting there, you got your chancellor, you got your AD, you got a few of the trustees, a couple of faculty athletics representatives, mamas and daddies and everything. And, and with our final pick out on the West Coast in the heading to San Diego, the Quinnipiac whatevers, and that other team is sitting there. Well, all right, you.
Yeah.
All right, you guys want to go get a sandwich? Yeah, I'm hungry. Yeah,
that can be a little embarrassing if you don't, if they don't call your name. It's kind of like, if you can't get a date to the prom, you get turned down all the time.
I think this
you won't even go with me. Ugh.
It doesn't feel that long ago to me, but it was a long time ago. Maybe 20, maybe 25 years ago. Way Offsides, Jeff, on the Way Offsides podcast, he says, ask Kennedy Winston how that feels. Kennedy Winston played basketball at the University of Alabama. This is Godfrey. This is when they weren't, great. He says, ask Kennedy Winston how he feels. He had an NBA draft party at Baumhauer's in Tuscaloosa, I think. Oops. And you have a draft party at somewhere.
Yeah.
You better make sure you're going. You better have your people saying, oh man, lock early first round, top 10 pick. If you're a tweener or you're one of those guys, I don't know. Don't have a watch party that you're going to get drafted, because that's what's going to happen. Oh,
yeah.
Free agency. Good luck with it, and everybody.
Yeah, don't embarrass yourself.
Nobody eats the celery anyway. So,
all right, Barry, at the bottom of the hour here in about 13 minutes, our man Brian Matthews, AuburnSports.com. We'll get his thoughts about Auburn in the postseason. Also, spring football about to begin over on the Plains.
Right.
I see. Let's see. We got hey, what about spring practice in Tuscaloosa? I don't believe they practiced yesterday. They practiced on Sunday. I don't have the full slate, the schedule in front of me.
All right.
Maybe they do, because I think they're breaking Friday for spring break, which I thought was a little interesting. Barry, remember when Saban did it? He'd have like one, maybe two practices. Then they break for spring break and come back for
like a week. Yeah.
Alabama's going to have like 5 or 6 before they break for the spring holidays. No. But I'll check on that. I haven't heard anything news and really earth-shattering.
There ain't any. Let's not have the same thing like when Chris the Bammer says belly and spin and all that kind of stuff. Or, hey, what about it? There ain't nothing going on. You know what they're doing?
Me.
They're in shorts. They're in T-shirts.
They have not announced a starting quarterback yet.
And that's all anybody cares about.
I don't think they've I know there's 4 new offensive linemen. I do not believe that they've announced the starting rotation for the O-line either. All we know is that some players have changed their numbers and gained some weight or lost some weight, depending on who you're talking about.
Right. Some people were supposed to lose some weight, ended up gaining some weight. Some people were supposed to gain weight, end up losing weight. I'm not exactly sure. That's high drama and worthy of a daily update here on this program. We do have Brian Matthews coming up. Also, a little bit later on, our buddy Connor O'Gara. He's going to be at 8 o'clock. He's in Travis Ryer's spot because Travis is
traveling today, I believe.
Yes. So we're underway. It's the Tuesday show. He's John Longshore. I'm Barry McKnight. It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Phoenix Physical Therapy is ready to help patients recover, recharge, and rise. They develop a customized therapy plan for each patient to get them back to enjoying their favorite activities. Their experienced team is committed to providing exceptional care in a professional environment. Whether you're looking to prevent or treat an injury, recover from a recent illness, or recuperate from surgery, schedule an appointment with one of their clinics and take advantage of physical therapy, athletic training, workers' comp, and employer solution services. Get back in the game, get back to work, and get back to life with Phoenix Physical Therapy. To find a location near you and to schedule an appointment, go to phoenixphysicaltherapy.com. That's phoenixphysicaltherapy.com.
It doesn't matter if you're running drills at the park, playing pickup on a Saturday, or sinking the final putt. When you compete with your friends with Michelob Ultra on the line, competition isn't that friendly. The trash talk, next level. And the stakes, oh, those are crystal clear. With only 95 calories and superior smooth taste, it's the ultimate trophy. Superior is worth playing for. Michelob Ultra, superior light beer. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2025, Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
At Dixie Overhead Door, we specialize in top-quality garage door solutions for homes across Alabama and Georgia. In need of a garage door repair or a brand new garage door installation, our expert team delivers fast, reliable service with local expertise that you can trust, providing customized solutions and exceptional care every step of the way. Visit us today at DixieOverheadDoor.com and experience the Dixie difference.
We're back at it, 21 minutes past the hour here on a Tuesday. So glad you're with us here today on Longshore McKnight. Make sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Really appreciate it. Really important. Helps with the algorithm, we're told. Also tell your friends, your buddies, your church members, whoever you hang out with, all your friends, your business associates. Love to get them involved with what we do as well. You can check us out on Facebook, YouTube, X, Spotify, Instagram, Apple Tunes. We're all there to view and to listen. Yellowhammer and yellowhammernews.com. Really appreciate those guys. And check it all out. We appreciate it. We see the numbers growing, and we couldn't do it without you.
Tell your worst enemy. I don't care. Tell the lady who's at the checkout counter at Publix. Tell the guy walking down the street, hey, hey, good to see you. Watch Longshore and McKnight, weekday morning, 7 to 9. Or, hey, whatever. Word of mouth has always been one of our best recommendations, word of mouth. A lot of people, hey, man, you got to check out Longshore and McKnight. They are playing tournament basketball, big time stuff. SEC basketball gets underway tomorrow. Auburn plays as the 12 seed against number 13 seed Mississippi State at 2 o'clock Central Time. LSU and Kentucky. Why does the SEC website, the SEC's in the Central Time Zone, Nashville's in the Central Time Zone, SECsports.com's got the SEC men's basketball tournament bracket, and all the times are Eastern. Don't do that. What are you doing? But there's also things like the Conference USA tournament. The Conference only reason why I am bringing this up is because the University of Texas at El Paso's in Conference USA.
UTEP.
So is Jacksonville State.
Mm-hmm.
UTEP Athletic Director Jim Center announced that any disciplinary action stemming from a heated post-game altercation following Saturday's men's basketball loss to Jacksonville State will be handled internally. Jacksonville State hit a bucket at the Horn to win it. This wasn't for the championship.
The old dagger shot.
Yep. Now, a video of the incident showed a fan in the second row wielding a portable folding chair while exchanging words with opposing players and staff near the scorer's table during the post-game handshake line. They're conducting interviews with witnesses, security personnel, those directly involved, They're going to thoroughly review the situation. Now, this is Longshore and McKnight. Well, my buddy Mike Paris, who's the Jacksonville State play-by-play guy, he's over on the far right.
Yeah.
Now take a look at this, John.
Okay.
The handshake line, Jacksonville State wins it. Mike has been at Jacksonville State for like 40-something years. Great guy.
Yeah.
This guy right here in the middle, he's
pointing at somebody.
He's pointing at somebody. He had just dropped the chair.
Yeah.
Check out the lady who's holding him back.
I'd say, is that his daughter?
I don't know. Might be his wife, but doesn't it look to you like she's saying, honey, not again. We've talked about this.
Well, here's what catches my eye, Barry.
No, honey, we talked to you about the refs, and I just let it. She has evidently just that look on her face. She has seen all this before.
A couple of things about this, Barry. The photo here. Well, first, go back to the photo, if you will.
Hang on. I don't know what happened. Yeah, there it is.
I got to give this guy credit. I didn't realize that the color analyst for the Auburn Basketball Radio Network also does it for Jacksonville State.
No.
I mean, isn't that the same guy? With the black Adidas,
Mike Paris.
Yeah,
I couldn't.
Is that Randall? What's that guy's name?
Randall Dickey.
Yeah, isn't that him?
I've got to come clean. I've never seen Randall Dickey. I've only ever listened to him. This is his first year or whatever.
I'm telling you, I'm thinking that's the guy. Number two, did you say something about they threw a chair?
Well, he wielded a chair.
Well, what does he think? He's down at the Alabama River down there, Riverfront Park, in front of the Harriet Tube.
Yeah, right by the dock. You've got those things. I mean, this is the same guy that's probably screaming at the 15-year-old kid who's trying to earn a few extra dollars by umpiring Dixie Sweetie's girls' 8-year-old softball. And that guy's screaming at him, call it both ways, just.
Wow. Man, Barry, if you hit a game winner at the buzzer, your emotions can go to the next level. It's kind of hard to reel it in. You got to collect yourself. There's a lot of chaos going on in a short period of time. You're not expecting it. It's kind of like a guy draining a 40-footer on you to beat you on the last hole. I mean, you're not happy about it. Yeah, and then sometimes your emotions boil over. I mean, not to say that's ever happened to me.
No,
but I've seen other people react that way.
Before.
Yeah. It's kind of like the kick six. You're not expecting it, particularly when you see Chris Davis run right by you and you think for a millisecond, should I stick my foot out and trip this guy?
Yeah, he's thinking about going Tommy Lewis on him, They probably, if that were to have happened, Chris Davis on the kick six, the photo that I still kind of enjoy, that somebody took of John in the background as Chris Davis is running by him. I've thought about that before. John, sticks out a shoulder or something like that. And later on, Greg Sankey releases a statement, or I don't know, Jay Jacobs or John Cohen or somebody, banning John from Jordan-Hare Stadium for the rest and all sporting events at Auburn for the rest of his life. John's like,
okay. I'm surprised they didn't do it, Barry, when I had that twitch walking by in the back of the end zone by the goalpost that day.
John and I did a remote from the press box at Jordan-Hare Stadium. We were the only people in the entire stadium. I forget what it was for. And so I'm up there. I'm already set up and everything. We're maybe 3 minutes away, and here comes John bebopping down there trying to figure out how to get up to the press box from his parking place because it's locked. And so he has to come in the field, and I see him down there. I got my binoculars, and he looks up at me, and he sees me. I'm the only one there. It's not hard to see me. And so he passes by the goalposts, and he hikes his leg down at the very end.
At a twitch.
Yeah.
That was it. If anybody else would have been in the stadium, I wouldn't have done it. But knowing it was just Barry and he had the binoculars on me, I thought, oh, this ought to be great. He'll love this. And I think they still had the padding on it that said Auburn or Tigers or something.
It did. It said Auburn going all the way down.
So I get right by. I kind of got to lift my leg up, insinuating that I'm urinating on it. But
everybody knows what you're doing. Yeah,
it was just a twitch, Barry. It really wasn't. That's really wasn't what I was doing. And if anybody else would have been in the stadium, I would have never done that. Well,
That is so not true. If there had been a full stadium and John had done that and had walked by, he would have done it big as day, even more so if it was a full stadium than it was just me up there. Maybe Barry's not looking. Maybe he doesn't, if it's 87-214 is at Jordan-Hare Stadium and John's walking by the baseline of the end zone by the goalposts, he ain't hiking his leg up. Why? Because it's poor decorum?
Poor decorum.
Bad behavior?
Bad behavior, exactly.
I submit to you.
I was a guest in their house, Barry. You don't act that way. You got to be on your best behavior. Can't be doing childish stuff like that. Come on.
By that same line of thinking, you've spent several times as a guest at Galette's. They welcome you in.
Yeah, they do.
Was John on his best behavior there? He was in good behavior, but
most
his best,
of the time, I would think.
Best behavior, passable behavior, okay. Acceptable behavior, maybe. Best behavier, never.
I will say this: I never got kicked out or thrown out. I guess would be the best appropriate word. Never got thrown out. I've never been thrown out of a bar. Now that I think about it, I had an instance one time in Montgomery at an establishment where a guy tried to get in, was getting into my face, and I'm just minding my own business. He claimed that I had said something as I passed by him, which was not true.
Right.
Wasn't even directed toward him, so he said. And the guy's kind of getting in my face, and the bouncer threw him out. Let me stay. That's as close as I've got to getting thrown out.
That is not very close. Well, when we come back, a man who has carte blanche in virtually every bar he goes to, Brian Matthews, auburnsports.com, will join us next. We're asking the tough questions about basketball postseason when we return on Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Marguerite's Exquisite Jewelry is Central Alabama's best-known jewelry store. Their location at 8163 Vaughn Road in Peppertree is conveniently located adjacent to Chappie's Deli. At Marguerite's, they have every jewelry item imaginable because they make it. They really make it. From rings, necklaces, bracelets, earrings, and much, much more. Marguerite's can also repair, clean, and rework any jewelry item that you want to bring back to life. Whether you're on a budget or have no budget at all, Marguerite's has all types of jewelry for everyone. Go by and see them today or call 270-0074. Why Hands? At Hands Heating and Air, you get this area's highest ranked service provider with 24-hour repair service, no overtime charges, and their same-day service guarantee. Plus, instead of other companies' 30-day repair warranty, Hands gives you a 3-year repair warranty. Hands Heating and Air is here for you 24/7, 365. And service is not just something they do, it's their way of operating, for you in mind. All of Hands employees are trained to adhere to this standard. They work hard to ensure that this standard is maintained, and they are constantly looking for new ways to better serve you. Call Hands Heating and Air today at 508-5382. That's 508-5382, or find them on the web at 834hands.com. Okay, back at it, everybody. About 27 minutes to the hour here on a Tuesday. Longshore and McKnight, so glad you're with us. Brian Matthews, auburnsports.com, hopping on with us as he does each and every Tuesday. Brian, hope you're doing well. Thanks for joining us.
I'm doing well. My connection might not be doing well, but I'm doing well.
Yep, it's always good to see you, no matter how fuzzy that you are. We want to talk to you about Jackson Coyven and his winning 3 tournaments. Maybe we'll get to that in a little while. But the last time we talked, you were mentioning, among other things, how Auburn men's basketball really could use a win over Alabama in Tuscaloosa. Not only did it not happen, it didn't look like there was a glimmer of it ever happening, Brian. First of all, let's talk about that game.
Yeah, I mean, that game was over within the first 5 minutes, right? I mean, they had 4 or 5 turnovers early. Alabama looked like they were just having a good time out there, right? Doing whatever they wanted, layups, dunks, three-pointers, backflips. And Auburn looked like a team that was just completely, unprepared and not ready for the moment. So I think that's a worrying sign. And it's been a rough. I think it's 8 of 10 losses down the stretch, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe it's worse than that, but I'll go with 8 of 10.
That sounds
Yeah.
somewhere in the ballpark.
Yeah.
Down by 30 at one point, cut it to 12, I think, at the end of the game. Obviously, they've got to go to Nashville. They play tomorrow at 3:00 in the afternoon. But the big question we've been asking yesterday and today, Brian, if Auburn doesn't make the NCAA tournament, should they even play in the NIT? Do they have to? Is there a regulation that you got to go play if you're invited to the NIT?
I'm not aware of any regulation for that unless something news changed. It's been a while since Auburn's been an NIT team. So,
fair point.
Should they? With this team? No. That's just my honest answer. Absolutely not. No. This team is not doesn't have leadership, doesn't have chemistry, doesn't play with a lot of heart and soul. I don't know why Auburn people will want to watch this team play any more games, to be honest with you. So maybe they'll change my mind this week in Nashville, but no, I think they should cut it short and move on to next year and start building a roster that can more meet the needs of this school and this coaching staff.
So what are you saying, Brian? I'm having a hard time deducing anything substantial. No, and that's a shame. And with most everything, the public immediately wants to know the reasons why. Why has it happened to that degree?
I mean, I think
coaching.
That's part of it. Sure, absolutely. I think they made mistakes. Going back a year ago and building this roster, certainly. Auburn under Bruce and under Stephen, I think he wants to have been really good defensive teams, and they've got a bunch of players that can't play defense. So I think that's a big problem. And I think last summer when Bruce was still in charge, he was talking about, well, maybe this will be a different team. Maybe we'll have to play more fast-paced, full court. But you can't do that with 7 scholarship players. This is basically what they're having to play with here, since back in December, early January. So they've also had some issues there with some injuries, with some discipline issues, guys that just aren't playing ball. And to be frank with you, some of the guys that are injured weren't good enough to play at this level anyway, to be honest, in my opinion. So maybe they develop, but they weren't good enough to play this year, in my opinion. So I mean, I just think there's a lot of problems.
And I think you're hitting on some things that we saw throughout the season. I mean, there were some guys that were sitting on were put on the bench for a game or a half or whatever, some off the court issues that whatever they were about. I mean, it's certainly not a good look. Went through a lengthy losing streak. Things weren't going well. I mean, they went to Florida and beat them by 9. That's the best win on the road in college basketball this year.
Crazy.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
But certainly something happened. Someone asked, I saw this. When we talk about NIL, we talk about money in terms of football. But what about basketball? Is Auburn up there with everybody else in the SEC when it comes to NIL and revenue for athletes in basketball, like maybe some of the other schools in this league are?
I think they're middle of the package, somewhere in there. And I don't know what it's going to look like for next year, but I wouldn't expect that to change. It doesn't seem like Auburn is pushing any boundaries there, right? They just want to do the quote unquote right thing as far as that goes. So, we'll see. I think it is tough when you have to, bring in 10 players and you only have one player returning, right? That's just, you're asking for trouble with that, in my opinion. Yeah. It's hard to get all those players right, and Auburn didn't. And so the first thing this team and this program needs to do is return 4, 5, or 6 players from this squad, guys that can develop, guys that can get better, next year, and then build behind those guys, right? And bring in a rim protector, bring in somebody defensively with some length on the perimeter who can guard and has that attitude to be a good defender. I wouldn't expect Auburn to be the top spender in the conference. I wouldn't expect them to be the bottom spender. I expect them to be somewhere in the middle.
People are looking at the bracket for the SEC tournament, and it's human nature, I suppose. Certainly among Auburn fans, whether it's football, basketball, baseball, or whatever, you think, okay, we look at this part of the football schedule. If we win this and we win this, then we could put ourselves in a position down at the end or whatever like that. Basketball, you look at the tournament and think, okay, Mississippi State, that's doable. Then Tennessee is a 5 seed. Then maybe Vanderbilt, who's sitting there, as a 4 seed. Maybe there's a path to that. I don't think there's any reason to do that. I don't think, people need to resist that or see if we do this, if we do that, then Vanderbilt, they could be ahead of. No, you just need to play better. And I don't think they have it in them anymore.
Well, a team with some mental toughness and resilience might be embarrassed by the way they played at Mississippi State a couple of weeks ago and allow Josh Hubbard to do what he did to them, right? What is it, 48 points, 35 or something in the first half?
I know he had 7 3-pointers in the first half, and Auburn seemed cool with it.
So, you might expect, a lot of Auburn teams in the past to come out and really, have something to say about that. So, maybe they will. I'm not going to say they won't,
and that kind of gets back, Brian, to what I asked you originally. And I thought this too. I mean, there's a lot of new faces on this team, and I expect some of them to move on. If you just mentioned, if 4 of them could stay and they could build around that 4, the kind of players that they want. So you got, a pretty good group leaving if that is the case. If these guys are thinking about transferring, moving out, they're not playing real well. You're not real sure if their heart's all in it. They go to they play tomorrow and say they lose, and the NIT comes knocking. I'm thinking, why? Because these guys, half this team's leaving anyway. I'm not sure the fans are real excited about it. I don't know. I just think you're kind of delaying the inevitable if you move on past tomorrow.
I agree. This coaching staff needs to get to work on next year right away. I mean, that they're going to be under the gun, right? They're going to be on the hot seat next year. What's happened this year is really, maybe shortened that period of time that they have, that grace period, so to speak. So, they need to get to work on next year. I just, maybe they prove me wrong, right? I don't mean to be so negative.
Yeah,
the season's not over till it's over, but just the way it looks right now, buddy, that they got to really – they got to find some dudes next year, and this team has to take a giant leap forward.
Yeah, and that's the reason why John's asking. Do they have the financial wherewithal to pay the people they need to come in? That's going to be critical for this team. You covered the Auburn baseball series against Winthrop, wrote about it at auburnsports.com. Looks as though I thought the strength of this team would be guys like, Rembert, some of the hitters. But, man, that pitching staff for Auburn.
Wow.
They're rounding into what looks like it could be one of the deepest Auburn has had in a long time, right?
Yeah, outscored Winthrop 24-1. 4 starters last week, combined 0.41 ERA, 26 strikeouts, 4 walks. That's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
They are really pitching well. They've got, probably 6 or 7 guys that could be legitimate weekend starters on this roster right now. So they can handle a slump or an injury here or there, and that really boosts their middle relief too. And they got a couple of guys that can close pretty well. So this is a really deep pitching staff, as deep as I've seen. And I think with Chris Rembert coming back, with some of the freshmen really stepping up, you're seeing the bats really start to come around too. I think they've averaged close to 9 runs a game over the last 10 after a little bit of a slow start.
Yeah, a lot of positives I'm hearing about this Auburn baseball team. There's no doubt about that. Going to be a force in the league and in the nation for that matter. Spring football beginning next week, I believe, Brian.
1 week from today.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, and
And
yeah, I think it's going to be very competitive, very, very competitive. I mean, you're talking about close to 90 players on scholarship, quote unquote, on scholarship or NIL, whatever you want to call it now,
right, yeah.
which is very unusual. You know, normally you're working with a roster around 50 or something. So
Yep.
they can afford to get after it and be really physical and let these. They won't all be there yet, but basically 15, 16 offensive linemen just get after it, right? Including only 3 returning guys, so most of them are newcomers. So they got to figure out the line of scrimmage as far as who's going to be the starters and how good can they be, and really push those guys. But I would expect a very physical, very competitive, a lot of full speed type stuff. Maybe you don't
Mhm.
always see in the spring.
One of the things I think is going to be good, we haven't seen this for the last couple of years in spring, is that you don't have any transfer portal at the end of it. The guys who
Right.
were here in spring are going to be there in the fall, right? That was always one of the odder things out there. A guy says, "Man, I didn't get enough reps with the ones in spring. I'm going to get out of here in the summer." And then the guys that are
Well,
the guys that finish spring are going to be the guys that you start the fall with for the first time in a couple of years.
mostly, I would say, even though there's not a portal in the spring now, there's going to be players that test this and leave their school and
Mhm.
try to enroll in another school, and we'll see what the courts and everybody decides. But
Right.
when you don't have an open portal and everything, it's not going to be the huge numbers you would normally see, right? I mean, we'll see how many players try to do it, but I just think that's part of college football now is they make rules, somebody breaks those rules, and then the courts decide if those rules are really legal or stand up to legal scrutiny. So we'll see.
Brian, we talked about this last week with you before it happened. The little meeting they had at the White House Friday afternoon. A lot of talk, no action to this point.
Yeah.
Are you expecting there to be any?
No, not at all. I thought that, no offense to anybody, but I just thought that was a big old waste of time. There's no going back. The SCORE Act or whatever form of the act is not going to make it through Congress, not at this time, not anytime soon. These are people just spinning their wheels, right? Saying the same things over and over again, unable to have the vision to look ahead and say, this is how we solve these issues. We sit down with the players, we have collective bargaining, we work this out, and people, we can have real regulations that can be followed, and we don't have to go to the courts every 6 months to determine whether something's legal or not. So, no, I just it's just all much ado about nothing. And until they want to sit down and wrangle it out and do things the right way, it's not going to get done.
Brian Matthews,
Sorry.
auburnsports.com. Lots of things that you guys are covering, lots of stuff that happening. How do people get involved and subscribe?
Yes, I'll be at baseball tonight. Justin will be at basketball tomorrow. We'll have full coverage of all that and more. Spring practice, opening SEC weekend at Missouri. Check us out, auburnsports.com. Follow me on Twitter, says X at BMATAU. Give it a try.
Outstanding.
Yes, highly recommend that. And I will tell you this, Brian, we're getting some comments on our chat line. People say we don't talk enough music anymore. Hey, that's coming. Give us the summer. We'll get into a long music run,
musical journey.
Months. The Rush tours starting up this summer, and some of these other things going on. Don't just hold on, folks. We're getting there.
Appreciate you, Brian. Thanks a bunch.
Appreciate you guys.
Yeah, Thank
you, buddy. Brian Matthews, auburnsports.com. We're going to be talking a little music. Don't just it's okay. Don't worry. We see you working there on the River Region Straw text line.
Well, on our VIP River Region Straw text line, my buddy Jason says, thanks for the shout out. We drove the F-150 Lightning to Pensacola and back.
Nice.
On Sunday, got a quick charge there in Pensacola, made it home with no issues, drove his wife's car back yesterday for the championship game, saw him down on the floor with the family.
Outstanding.
Celebrating things. And that F-150 Lightning, he raved about that. That's pretty sweet. Available in lots of different styles and colors at Stivers Ford in Montgomery, which is where he got his.
Oh, exactly. Where Price sells cars. Buried about 10 minutes, our friend Connor O'Gara with OG Kickoff is going to join us. Connor's been a guest on the program many a time. You probably remember him from Saturday Down South. He's moved on to OG Kickoff. It's a podcast you can check out. He'll be telling us about that. We'll be talking some college football with our man Connor in about 10 minutes.
It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Don't miss your chance to win big at Victoryland Casino. Play the latest, hottest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. Don't miss out on your free play. Stop by Player Rewards today and check out this month's exciting free play promotions. Come see why our players keep coming back. You'll have more fun at Victoryland Casino, where you can be a winner too. Victoryland Casino, located off I-85 exit 22, Shorter, Alabama. Must be 21 or older.
Hey, where's the beer guy? Bud Light here? You get a Bud Light? Bud Light? I'm here, Bud Light. Bud Light here? Bud Light here? Bud Light here? Bud Light where? Bud Light here? Oh, Bud Light there. I missed that because of you. You did not miss that play because of me. Tough to stop talking this way? Yeah. It's actually kind of fun.
Hey, I got your Bud Light.
Oh, nice. Never mind. Anything for the clean, crisp taste of Bud Light.
What I miss?
I have no idea.
The Montgomery Regional Airport is getting better the more you use it. MGM offers multiple nonstop daily flights to Atlanta, Charlotte, Dallas-Fort Worth, and Washington's Reagan National Airport via Delta and American Airlines. And beginning this April, MGM will offer daily nonstop flights to Houston's Intercontinental Airport via United Airlines. All of these cities offer easy connections to destinations all over the country and all over the world. Make travel more cost-effective and less stressful when you utilize your Montgomery Regional Airport. MGM, you can get there from here. All right, welcome back in, everybody. About 9 minutes to the top of the hour on this Tuesday. Some people disagree with my belief of, hey, I watched it. Well, you only watched it for 30 seconds. Well, at least I watched it. I mean, I got something in there. I mean, do I have to watch the whole game or 3 hours or whatever? The
urban legend is that if John sits down and watches something specific, one specific thing for more than 10 minutes, an angel gets his wings. You know, I've heard anecdotal evidence. John will sit down, okay, all right, yeah, what else is on? Or get up and, so he's got to count it that way. Yeah. Did you watch that game or did you watch that show? Yes, I did. What do you think of so-and-so? Well, I missed that part in the 30 seconds that I watched it. Wait a minute, you said you watched it. I did watch it. It was on the TV. I was in front of it for a finite period of time. What do you want?
So I got maybe, I don't know, a minute of Cuba and Puerto Rico baseball last night. I thought,
he watched it. He did watch it.
Are these the same place? A couple of things that caught my attention. The game was being played in Puerto Rico, I understand. They're U.S. territory. I mean, what? I didn't even see a U.S. flag anywhere on their uniform. I was in Puerto Rico about 2 years ago. There are United States flags everywhere. I'm talking big ones.
They got, you know, of course, obviously they're Americans just like you and I are, but they
cannot vote in presidential elections.
They cannot vote in presidential elections. They don't pay taxes.
No capital gains. I ran into a lot of people that, hey, man, why do you live here? No capital gains tax. Okay, I get it.
You go into a CVS or in Puerto Rico, you go into a CVS and something costs $3.55. You put down $4, you get 45 cents back. You know,
it's American money. You're right. They got they use U.S. currency. I just thought, should you not have?
It's confusing. It's confusing to me, not because I've been to Puerto Rico, but it's confusing to me because why does Puerto Rico get their own team? It's the same thing in the Olympics. You know, you have the Puerto Rican basketball team and all that kind of stuff. They're not their own country. I mean, you know, you don't have, you know, the Canadian men's basketball team and then also the Ontario men's basketball. I don't know, but it would be confusing to have Puerto Rico with American flags on.
I mean, like if
taking
Guam,
on the United States, taking on the USA, which has American flags.
Yeah, in Guam, a U.S. territory. I mean,
Yeah.
St. Thomas, St. John's, U.S.
Guam's
Virgin
got its own
Islands.
team in the Little League World Series. You know,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I never understood that. I mean, you either are or you're not. You're with us or you're not. I will say this: when I was in Puerto Rico, I asked several people that were there, do they consider themselves Puerto Ricans or Americans? And the majority of them said Puerto Ricans.
Oh yeah.
They do not want to be the 51st state for some reason.
Yeah, they don't want to have to pay taxes.
Yeah, they kind of like the setup that they've got, but you know, I don't know. I just thought maybe an American flag wouldn't be half bad on that uniform. So you know, maybe a minute of that lost me. As bad a shape as Cuba's in, I'm thinking, where do they practice? How'd they get to Puerto Rico? I mean, I'm hearing that place is falling apart down there, but I don't know. Maybe somebody helped them out. Who knows? Then I flipped over to Mexico, which, those uniforms, geez.
Yeah.
Against the
Not a big fan
U.S.,
Yeah.
I was amazed how many people were at this game till I found out it was being held in Houston. I went, well, that's like what, 40 miles from the Mexican border? Maybe a little further than that.
It's further than that.
And I'm thinking, okay, all right. So I watched maybe, I don't know, 2 minutes of that. The U.S. uniforms really look good. I'll give them credit for that.
Yes,
They look
those
good.
are sweet.
And it was like 5-0. And I'm thinking, come on. I mean, it's like you guys are playing the B team out here. I mean, this is embarrassing.
Yeah.
That's all I got of the World Baseball Championships, or I guess that's what it's called.
It is. Puerto Rico beat Cuba. They're in the quarterfinals. Korea beat Australia. And when I say Korea, it's South Korea, North Korea.
Okay.
Don't leave North Korea. Dominican Republic, Venezuela, Japan. Again, Brazil, Czechia.
Ooh.
The
Who was the second best team in this championship? I'm assuming the U.S. is the best.
U.S. is pretty doggone good. Mexico, Canada's pretty good. I
heard him talking about the Canadian team.
Puerto Rico is 3-0. They lead Pool A. The United States is 3-0. Japan's probably the second best team.
I would think some Central American teams are pretty good. It seems like
Venezuela and the Dominican Republic are 3-0. The bad teams. Well, the Israel is 1-2. Chinese Taipei is 2-2.
They got a lot going on back home anyway. They probably can't focus as well as other teams.
Great Britain is 1-3.
When I think baseball, I don't think Great Britain.
No, Czechia is 0-3. Brazil is 0-4, and they're.
I couldn't find Czechia on a map.
Well, it's a new kind of name. Czech Republic and all that. Not that it makes a difference. John wouldn't be able to find them in a map no matter what they were named. But so there you go. And it is a big deal. It's a big deal. Man, the Japanese, they're playing at the Tokyo Dome or whatever they call it. And I would love to go to Japan to a baseball game because it's so much different. They have organized chants in the stands. That'd get a little irritating for me after a while.
Wait a minute. You're adding more irritation to a game that already irritates me?
Well, I mean, you have to sit through Dixieland Delight and so, I mean, you understand irritating music. So
true.
Yeah.
That's tough.
That is such a big deal.
Yeah, I'm here.
You have no idea. Such a big deal.
To take your word for that.
Yeah.
Joining us now, good friend of the program, and so glad that he's able to hop on with us this morning, Connor O'Gara. He is joining us here. Got a new, got something new going on. He's going to tell us all about that. First and foremost, Connor, how you doing, my friend? Thanks for joining us.
Gentlemen, doing well. Great to be here. Yeah, doing the independent thing right now, hosting the OG Kickoff, which used to be the Saturday Down South podcast. I was laid off at Saturday Down South. They gave us the podcast feed, so we basically get to continue doing our show the way that we want to be able to do it. So, yeah, right now we are independent, working on a few different things on the side as well, but a new venture is officially underway.
Have you still been able to rectify in your mind that the same university that you used to tailgate at the football stadium, and when the game began, then you'd go home and watch other football games, Indiana is a national champion? We are actually saying this live to Connor O'Gara.
I was there in Miami.
Okay.
I got to bask in the championship glow, and it's still not real. It's still not fully real. And go figure, it's happening right as Indiana is about to ruin its chance of getting into the NCAA tournament. And it's just so backwards. If you had told me back when I decided I was going to go to Indiana back in 2008 that one day you will get to witness a national championship, I would say, wow, like where's who are they going to face in the Final Four to be able to get there? Oh no, it's actually going to be in college football. I would have said, I think they're going to have to like pretty much change the rules and everything about themselves in order for that to happen. And I guess that is what happened. So yeah, from that standpoint, it is truly bizarre, and I don't think I've even fully processed it yet.
Well, it was so unforeseen that it happened. But Connor, are there any lessons to be learned? Is this just a once in a million deal, or is there some sort of a blueprint for Indiana that other schools might gain something out of?
There is a little bit of a blueprint, and one of it is don't ignore old coaches. And Kurt Cignetti being 64 years old, I feel like is something that is kind of lost in the shuffle of all of this. And, it's interesting because the SEC, the head coaches have never been younger. The oldest head coach in the SEC now is Brent Venables, the guy who runs stadiums in his free time, which is crazy to think about. Like look at all these new coaches that are coming in. You've got 6 coaches and new faces, and a bunch of them have 1980s birthdays. Like, Will Stein is someone who would have been in my class in school. I'm 35 years old. And the coaching profession seems to be getting younger, even though we just watched this 64-year-old coach win a national championship, a guy that took, as he said, is a one-of-one path. And I think that if there's a lesson to be learned from all of this, it's not necessarily that, you should go after this specific type of player, that specific type of player. It's open yourself up to the possibility that someone who's older than maybe you had in mind could actually be the exact right fit for your job, because it's the greatest turnaround in the history of sports. I don't even think it's close. And to me, what he has been able to do, knowing the stage in his life that he was at, I think that's really what opened the door for everything. I don't think he'd be doing this if he were 34 years old as opposed to 64 years old.
Well, Connor, let's talk about a turnaround, but going the other way. Bama fans still have not gotten over the fact they lose by 35 points. I can't remember that happening very often. And certainly with Kalen DeBoer, there was some 17-point losses, 21-point losses, but that 35-point loss hit them hard. And, losing by 2 on a field goal as the clock runs out is one thing, but getting thoroughly dominated is another. A lot of pressure on Kalen DeBoer for year 3.
It does feel like there's a lot of pressure, and I'm one that's defended him. I still think if I'm betting today, I think it's going to work out. But this is the issue so far with Kalen DeBoer, is that, yes, he can win you a big-time game. He can go and win at Georgia at night, something that no team had previously done since 2009. He can get you that big-time win. The problem is how uncompetitive they were in their losses this past year. Yeah. And that's when the mind of a fan can go to a dark place, an unfamiliar place. And I think that's the issue right now, is that you're seeing a lack of answers in some of these big time games. I was there at the SEC championship, and, you see Bama come out really, really flat. And at some point you're thinking, all right, the adjustment's going to come. They're going to figure this out. They're going to figure that out. And all of a sudden it's going to be like a competitive game. It's going to be a touchdown game. that was a game that I think Bama had to approach thinking we need to have this one, and we can't even run the risk of the selection committee viewing this as a knock against our resume. And they did not have the answers at any point in that game. And so that's what I kind of wonder about, because I thought Ryan Grubb was going to be the key to Alabama being able to troubleshoot in some of these losing efforts and some of these games where they fall behind early. And they've been kind of, with the exception of the Oklahoma game, really, they've been kind of a one-note team. And that to me needs to change this year, regardless of how it looks. They need to be able to find out why they are so uncompetitive in these games in which they are ultimately on the wrong end of.
When you saw it come across your desk that Auburn ended up hiring Alex Golesh, what was your reaction?
Loved it. Absolutely loved it. Was surprised, was very surprised, was on a morning walk with the family on a Sunday morning after, a busy Saturday, and then was like, wait, Alex Golesh to Auburn? Did I read that right? I thought he's going to Arkansas. What happened here? And I've gotten to speak with him a few times. I've had him on my show a couple of times. And if you know his backstory, he's perfect for what Auburn fans want right now, which is a coach that is going to show up. He is going to grind for you. He is going to be someone who says, look, I'll get my 4 hours of sleep and put in all the heavy lifting to be able to get this thing going in the right direction. That's what he did to be able to turn around USF, a program that was in free fall before he showed up there. And he showed up and was able to do things with that roster that were really impressive at the group of 5 level, given the day and age that we're at, wherein if you have anybody that's good at the group of 5 level, he's getting poached. And now he's going to bring these guys over with him from USF, which is a really good sign. I think if guys like Byron Brown and some of these receivers that they were able to bring over, I think if they were going to other places, you'd kind of be scratching your head going, is that maybe a red flag? And that's not been the case so far. Auburn's enduring its worst stretch since the Harry Truman administration. They need an answer. They need an adult at head coach, someone who knows the ebbs and flows of this day and age in college football. I think Alex Golesh is a great fit. I don't know that he ultimately takes them to national championship type levels, but when you're having the stretch that Auburn's having, I don't think you can pick and choose which coach can win us the title versus which coach can't.
Connor O'Gara, OG Kickoff, joining us here this morning. Connor, Friday afternoon at the White House, the president had about 40 people related to sports and to try to solve some problems with college athletics. A lot of talk, no action. What are you expecting, if anything, to come from all this?
Nothing really. Didn't have athletes there. Didn't have any of the student athletes. I think we all agree that if this day and age had a union for these college athletes, whatever you want to call them, if you want to still call them student athletes, that's fine. But if they had collective bargaining, if they had a union, then I think a lot of these issues and these guardrails that have just been non-existent, I think that they would really be on the back burner. And instead, you have a lack of presence from people that have a huge say in all of this, because look, they're the reason that college sports have changed. The fact that college athletes are allowed to be paid now, and not just paid from an NIL standpoint, but paid from a revenue sharing standpoint, they're a huge part of the conversation. So if all of a sudden, like, you're making these decisions without them, I question how far that can really go when you've had judges in state court that have basically said, hey, this business model, you're not allowed to do this anymore. And this NCAA model, even at the Supreme Court level, was basically laughed at. So I don't really know what you can hope to get done without the presence of those student athletes.
Is there some sort of monolithic presence in the SEC for the upcoming year? Something that some school that everybody's going to be chasing, or is it relatively even as you look at it right now?
Yeah, I don't think that you can sit here and say that anybody is heads and shoulders above the competition. If you give me an argument for Georgia, I can tell you I got some concerns about that receiver room. I don't like necessarily how much that they're going to be relying on young guys in that group as much as I like Gunnar Stockton, and the fact that this program has not been able to get over the playoff hump in the last 3 years is something that I think we need to have legitimate conversations about. So there's that. I think if you tell me, oh, it's absolutely Ole Miss, a team that I love with Trinidad Chambliss coming back, I could say, hey, look, this is still a first-time head coach in Pete Golding. It was great what he did in the college football playoff in that run, but figuring out week to week in the SEC is going to be a different beast. And if you tell me, oh, it's going to be a team like Texas, I would say, Do we know what they're going to be defensively? Because I know Steve Sarkisian made this bold move to bring in Will Muschamp and to move on from Pete Kwiatkowski, who I thought was one of the best defensive coordinators in college football. But I have a lot of questions with the pieces that they're going to place on that side of the ball and all the names you're going to hear called in the NFL draft who came from a very talented group on the back end. So I look at all these teams at the top of the SEC and I kind of scratch my head and go, well, I could give you legitimate concerns about every single one of them. And that's just maybe the way that the league is shaking out, despite the fact that in the 2020s, it's only been Alabama and Georgia who have been able to win an SEC championship.
Connor, let's look at our crystal ball a little bit. We've read and heard a lot of scenarios of what the future of college football will look like. Do you see a day when the Power Four kind of go do their own thing and the Group of Five does their own thing, has their own playoff, maybe their own TV deal, and the Big Ten and the SEC and the others just kind of move on and just kind of have their own brand of football?
The dirty little secret is it's happening right now. It is happening right now to a certain extent, in not necessarily in official terms. And the Group of Five is still all but guaranteed a spot in the college football playoff. And I totally understand that from a marketing standpoint, you don't want to take that off the table. You don't want to all of a sudden just have the power conference teams only playing each other. I mean, I think there's legitimate, positive to be gained from having those non-conference matchups. And I don't want to necessarily see that go away because I think that the Group of Five provides a lot of value. I think it provides a lot of entertainment in the sport, but they're kind of doing that in their own way right now with the way that everything sets up. If you look at the way that the college football playoff poll reflected that, I mean, you had weeks there where you weren't seeing a Group of Five team in the top 25.
Right.
Once upon a time, I mean, that was just unheard of. Like when the SEC started its run of dominance, like go back to 2009 when the SEC had Alabama and Florida playing in an SEC championship as undefeated 1 versus 2 teams. You had all these Group of Five teams. All right, I guess we didn't call it Group of Five at the time, but all these teams like Boise State and Cincinnati that were undefeated, that were like vying for one of those spots. And it's just changed. That entire conversation looks different now. And there is that clear separation because of the transfer portal, because of NIL and what these schools can offer. And I think that it's happened already. Will it happen in an official capacity? I would say wait for that next round of realignment with what it looks like with the ACC when they're able to not necessarily be under the grant of rights in the same way that they are now. And that buyout to get out of the ACC drops to $75 million instead of the hundreds of millions of dollars that it is right now.
We've become desensitized to all that. Oh, it drops to 75 million.
Right.
75 million. That's a bargain at 75. It's still.
Yeah, it's a good way to put
crazy
it. Desensitized. Okay. So, 16, 24, we've heard those numbers thrown out there. Where are we heading when it comes to playoff numbers?
Please let it be 16. Please let it be 16. I don't know what at this point would force the SEC to give in to the 24 that the Big Ten wants, because if it hasn't happened at this point, I kind of think that there'll continue to be more resistance and that eventually 16 is going to be the number. I mean, and I say that as someone who wants to stay at 12. I don't want to necessarily go to 16. With all due respect to Josh Heupel, I don't want to go to 24. I get why coaches want to go to 24. I am not at that place. I think that there are real repercussions to changing your postseason that radically into all of a sudden just changing the entire way that you crown a champion. It's already radical enough going from 2 that we had as recently as 2013 to decide a champion to now being at 12 and thinking that 12 still isn't enough. And I get that the sport has changed. I think we will end up at 16. I think that by probably 2027, we will be at that 16 team playoff, and it won't be that much different than the 12 team. But I really, really hope and think that getting to 24, despite what the Big Ten continues to push, is probably not as imminent as they would like to believe, because I think it would have happened at this point already. And even if there had been that wink, wink, nudge, nudge, we'll get to 24 as they had hoped for, I think that there would have been an agreement in place.
And if we do go to 16, Connor, and I know the money is the ultimate, but I want to see as many on-campus playoff games as I can get. I just think it just adds to it, the pageantry, the excitement, the tradition. And I think fans they're getting stretched too thin. I can't travel to all these cities to go see my team play. Let's play some games at home.
Yeah, and honestly, like my school probably ruined that a little bit of having all of these games in which Indiana fans just traveled in droves for and just showed up looking like they had never spent $1 on football in their entire lives, and they were
Which they
saving up
probably had not.
Right. I mean, like, let's be honest. Student tickets back in my day were $5 tickets, and even then, it was difficult to get students to get to go to the game. But yeah, it's kind of amazing because I agree 100%. I think everybody that follows this sport, that loves this sport, that doesn't have financial stake in this sport would tell you, yeah, get more home games on these campuses and get rid of those Tuesday selection shows. I would love to see a draft of matchups that you get to play where the first overall seed, if we're going to do away with the buys, then let like the first overall seed draft who they're able to play. People would absolutely tune into something like that. And then you could do the reseeding afterwards, but essentially have this be like, hey, you're going to manufacture storylines by having something like that. Maybe the 2 seed doesn't pick the 15 seed to be able to face them. And I think that there would be so much drama and intrigue to that. So there are ways that we can tweak this system, even beyond just getting, more of these games on campuses.
Connor, final question from me. Is John Sumrall the answer at Florida?
I think he's an answer. And if you're telling me, is he the answer to all of a sudden getting Florida back to where they were 20 years ago? I would say no. I would say the sport has changed a lot. And it's tough for me to sit here and give you that type of expectation, just because, we broke this down on the most recent on the most recent episode of the OG Kickoff of how many coaches in the last 20 years have truly entered with title or bust implications of that's how we were going to define their tenures. And it's about 12. Like that's really kind of it. I don't think John Sumrall at Florida is that, but you see the way that he's approached everything so far. It's almost like someone in his agency gave him a sheet of paper and said, here's all the things that Florida fans hated about Billy Napier. Now go do the opposite. And he's done that. And I give him a lot of credit. I think his staff hires have been great. I kind of like that he came out and said, like, look, I've ruined a lot of friendships I had because I didn't want to just hire my friends. And I think that there is a breath of fresh air that Florida fans are feeling right now. It'll be interesting to see kind of how this quarterback battle plays out there in Philo with Tremel Jones, the incumbent, and see how this all looks in year one, because this is a team that should bounce back, maybe a more favorable schedule than the last 2 years. So I think he can be an answer, and he could be a guy that gets them out of the place that I think Florida's been, which is kind of the punching bag. And I think that there is real value in that. But yeah, I wouldn't necessarily say he's all of a sudden going to lead them necessarily to championship type levels. It's just getting them out of the basement and getting them to a place of respectability in the SEC.
I probably should ask you about the 2028 season, but I'm going to give him a little wiggle room and say the 2030 season. Will Lane Kiffin be the head coach at LSU?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. Look, 2030, we're talking about being there for 5 years. If you had bet the over-under or set an over-under on Lane and Ole Miss, he would have hit the over by being there for 6 seasons. Like he hasn't really done the 2 years now. And the other thing too is, where's he going to go? Where's he? Unless Bama comes open, which is that's the only real remaining job that I think you would hear the Lane Kiffin rumors. And everything I've ever heard is that Lane will not be considered for the Alabama job. Now, desperate times call for desperate measures. I would tend to think that based on the way the search played out the first time, not that much has changed with Lane Kiffin and his relationship with Alabama since then. So I would probably say that the over would hit on something like that. I don't think LSU wants to get into this spot where after this $54 million tug of war with Brian Kelly, that all of a sudden they're paying another massive buyout, because if he's gone before then, they're paying a massive buyout. We all know how it worked out for Lane Kiffin at the NFL level, so I don't think that would necessarily appeal to him. I think Lane will still be there in 2030 if I'm sitting here guessing. But yeah, I mean, at this point, who the heck knows? Because I wouldn't have told you at this time last year that I thought he was going to be the next head coach at LSU. So my guess is as good as anyone's.
Always. Go ahead, John.
One more time, tell us about OG Kickoff, your new venture.
Yeah, appreciate that. So we are the OG Kickoff on Instagram, on YouTube, where you can catch all of our episodes. If you were already subscribed to the Saturday Down South podcast, you did not have to change feeds at all because it was the same exact feed. So if you're like, oh yeah, I've been subscribed and I just saw that new logo up there, that's what that is.
Yeah,
it's
that was
essentially
me.
the same show. Yeah, it's essentially the same show on what we're doing, and we're having a lot of fun with it. So yeah, 2 episodes a week through the NFL draft. We're going to go down to 1, and then we're going to start up with 2 again right around the time of SEC Media Days. So a lot of content in the off season, and yeah, just go hit that subscribe button and listen. I promise that you'll learn something, or you'll at least be entertained by it.
There you go. Appreciate you, Connor. Thanks a bunch.
Thanks, guys.
You too, buddy. Thank you so much. Connor O'Gara, OG Kickoff. Make sure you check it out. Friend of the program. Always enjoy chatting with Connor on a variety of topics. Well, I think we're late for a break, believe it or not.
Yeah, I know we're late for something, and that's the Phantom Daily Dog coming up.
Oh, yeah. Oh, well, heck yeah.
In just a moment. You know, it is on the schedule. He's John Longshore. I'm Barry McKnight. It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Known by avid golfers as one of the most beautiful and challenging stops on the Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail, Cambrian Ridge in Greenville lies just 40 miles from Montgomery. It is well worth the ride for any golfer looking for 27 holes of jaw-dropping golf. The greens have been redesigned to accommodate the higher green speeds associated with their installation of the latest generation of ultra-dwarf Bermuda grass. Cambrian Ridge offers a fully stocked pro shop with all the latest equipment and apparel. Great food and beverages in the clubhouse can be enjoyed both before and after your round. Get your group together and hit the trail. Go to rtjgolf.com/Cambrian Ridge for tee times and more information. The Destin Connection Seafood Market at 3750 Norman Bridge Road in Montgomery has the freshest seafood direct from the Gulf of America. I'm talking red snapper and grouper, all sizes of Gulf shrimp, jumbo lump crab meat and crab claws, Louisiana Bay oysters, and New Bedford scallops. They are a full-service seafood market and kitchen serving po' boys, dinners, and sandwiches. You know, many well-known restaurants in the river region purchase their seafood from the Destin Connection because they know it's the absolute best. Call ahead and your order will be ready for pickup. The Destin Connection Seafood Market, 3750 Norman Bridge Road. Call 288-4272. That's 288-4272.
Jim Massey's Cleaners and Laundry is an Alabama-based, family-owned and operated business that specializes in dry cleaning and laundry, serving the river region since 1941. There are 12 convenient locations across the river region. Find one close to you or call 481-1911 for free pickup and delivery. For 83 years, Central Alabama has trusted Jim Massey's Cleaners and Laundry. You should too.
Okay, welcome back in. Glad you're with us. 21 minutes past the hour. Great stuff from Connor O'Gara. Hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. If you missed any or all of it, you can check it out on your schedule. That's the beauty of what we do here on Longshore and McKnight. Check it out on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, X, Spotify, Apple Tunes, Yellowhammer, and yellowhammernews.com. Really appreciate that. Preston wants to know when we're going 3 hours. I mean, come on, wait a minute. You don't get enough every day?
Evidently
you want more?
Not.
Man, love
Evidently not.
Appreciate love.
We're open, you know. John is. Anyway, we're there. It's not the craziest thing out there.
Yeah,
I will say that. In the news of the moment, we mentioned yesterday, Tua Tagovailoa was allowed to walk from the Miami Dolphins. They did sign. They got rid of Tua yesterday, and they signed former Auburn quarterback Malik Willis.
Malik the Freak? Oh, my Lord. You
Yeah.
gotta be kidding me. Wow.
If he's the starting quarterback for the Dolphins, Auburn will have had 2 quarterbacks on the same team that would be NFL starters, Bo Nix and Malik Willis.
What about
How
that?
did they ever lose a game? Well, they
How
lost a
did they?
bunch of them out there. He signed a deal, a 1-year deal with the Atlanta Falcons.
Didn't Michael Penix their quarterback?
Why in the world would he sign a deal with the Atlanta Falcons? And that's the reason why. They got a young, left-handed quarterback that they spent the big bucks on and all that. Why would he do that? I don't get it. Is he bound to be a backup? Somebody wrote this earlier. Tua needs to go ahead and retire Otherwise, he's going to be eating Jell-O, through a straw or something.
How about this one, Barry? Tua replaced by an Aub? Trying to think of
Malik went to Liberty.
How
Where
many games did he play for Auburn?
not many. He wasn't there for very long. He didn't win the job over Bo Nix, which turned out to be probably justified. But both he and Bo transferred to elsewhere and really got developed elsewhere. I think Malik Willis was the last good quarterback Hugh Freeze ever coached.
Wait a minute. Jackson Arnold? Oh, no, he played at Ole Miss. How do I forget that guy? Who's that guy from Michigan State?
You used to dog cuss him left and right. Peyton Thorne.
Oh, Peyton Thorne. Yeah.
Anyway,
I get the transfers mixed up.
There's a jillion of them, believe me, all over the world of sports. So there is that, but this is unfair. This is not only unfair, but it's in bad taste. Tobias says, the Dolphins tweeted, "Thanks for the memories, Tua," but somebody subtweeted underneath it, "He can't remember the memories."
Ouch.
That's not fair.
Man.
That's not fair. The guys had concussions. That's
tough
not
stuff.
right. Yeah.
I don't know what Tua. I mean, these guys made enough money. Just,
Is it bittersweet at all? I'm not jumping the route on this at all, John. Is it bittersweet at all to you guys out there when you play an underdog that covers, but it doesn't win outright?
Yeah.
Some of you guys go, I
hate it for him.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, is that really a thing? You're playing. I like them as a 5.5 point dog.
Yeah.
And they cover, but they still take a loss.
Bill, I hear people say it, and I follow this line of thinking as well. I like to pick an underdog that I think can win the game outright. So normally you're not picking dogs that are catching 17.5 points.
Right.
Or something like that. But as you bring that up, just to let you know, just to reiterate one more time, Robbie from Greenville follows this closely. TV opinion win with Troy laying 5.5 last night in the Sun Belt Championship game. Just a TV opinion, but we do want to recognize that. We don't want to, discount the fact that a TV opinion hit for us too last night.
Well,
I took advantage of that, but
I'm learning something. I have learned
dogs. So we're looking more at dogs and favorites.
I have learned so much from John through the years on this subject. So much. I didn't know anything about it. I've still never bet on anything in my life. But Tobias says this. Is this right? Is this right, John? Tobias, Barry, you rarely, if ever, bet the underdog to win outright. That's called insurance.
Well, the thing about a dog is you got a chance to win really both ways, because you can lose the game but cover the spread, or you can win the game outright. That's why I always say I like to find a dog that I think can win the game outright. And obviously there are a lot of underdogs that win games outright. They're normally teams that are, in football, a dog of about 3 or less. In basketball, it's about the same thing. I learned that from the late, great Richard Clamian, who was with us years and years and years ago, a handicapper who lived in Las Vegas, who we had a great relationship with.
John learned so many things at his feet. Yeah. John.
He would say that. I like to find a dog that I believe can win the game outright. His philosophy was the same when it came to betting overs and unders.
He said, you're a winner if you bet an under. I'll never forget this because I didn't know what in the world he was talking about. He says, you're a winner if you bet an under. It's up to them.
That's right.
To make you,
I mean, you won when the game kicks off, you're winning. You just hold on, basically. And a lot of times more than not, that holding on will win for you.
Yeah.
So, let's get to the Phantoms Daily Dog, the preview collection, if you will. Barry, last night it took place in Oklahoma City.
Yes.
Probably the hottest team in the NBA, former NBA champ.
With the hottest player in the NBA and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Did you know Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, reigning MVP, he'll probably win it again. His cousin, his name is Javier Gilgeous-Glasgow. He plays on the Troy basketball team. So
really?
There is that.
Wow.
Yes.
How about that? No.
Anyway.
Well, hey, man, unbelievable. What a coincidence, because we had Troy in a TV opinion yesterday. Anyway, Oklahoma City was hosting the Denver Nuggets, who are scratching and clawing for playoff positioning.
It's them. Now, sometimes the Phantom, when he goes to the NBA, gets this obscure game, and you're thinking, Pelicans and the Wizards? What?
Yeah.
This one was not an obscure game. This one was Nikola Jokic against Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, two of the best teams in the league, and the Phantom says, the numbers add up to me.
They do. I think you're referring to a game we had last week, Barry, between the Brooklyn Nets and the Washington Wizards.
The Wizards and the Nets. That was it.
Yeah. That people had people scratching there. We covered that one too. Anyway, Denver was heading into Oklahoma City as a 7-point underdog. 7-point underdog. Well, Denver did not win the game last night. Hate it for them. It was tough. But more importantly, they covered the spread. 129 to 126 was the final, with OKC the outright winner, but they didn't cover the spread. So Denver cashes another ticket for us, another winner with the Phantom's Daily Dog. I know, quit gloating, quit patting yourself on the back. What have you got for me today?
He is just putting that out on the record, on video record, that this is what happened. This is where the Phantom won. And, there's no gloating.
No.
But, it's like the court stenographer over there. Let the record show that the witness is holding up a blue car key, or something. Let the record show that the Phantom won in his Daily Dog on Monday, March the 9th. That's all we're doing. It's just documenting it all.
Barry, we are going to a game tonight that'll pit Eastern Conference against the Western Conference.
NBA, the association.
Yeah, going to the NBA again. Why not? It's been pretty good for us lately.
Yeah.
Where the San Antonio Spurs, who are solidly in second position in the Western Conference at 47-17 on a 4-game winning streak. They've won 9 of their last 10, by the way.
All right.
Have the San Antonio Spurs are hosting the Boston Celtics, who are also solidly in second place in the Eastern Conference. So you got a pair of second place teams in both conferences going at it tonight. The Celtics have won 2 in a row. They're 8, and they won 8 of their last 10. Game is tonight on NBC at 7 o'clock, where the Boston Celtics are a 3.5-point underdog to the San Antonio Spurs. Here we are. Wins are very important. Playoff positioning. Certainly want to, keep your team and keep your program in a good spot. We kind of like this one tonight, as well as Boston goes into San Antonio tonight. We think Boston can cover the 3.5.
That is our Phantom's Daily Dog. Boy, the NBA.
Little revenge.
The Phantom is saddling them up. And
yeah, a little revenge, because these teams played back in January. On January the 10th, San Antonio won by 5, 110 to 105. I'll make sure I got that right. Yeah, 100-95, excuse me.
Okay.
So the Spurs have already won again in this series. When you play Eastern and Western Conference, you don't play as much as like the same. You always see team, seems like the Pelicans are always playing Atlanta, Memphis, and Orlando, because they're in their kind of their division, so to speak, their subdivision, if you will.
Yes.
So this is the rematch of a game they played back in January, in which the Spurs won. We like the Celtics to cover tonight in San Antonio, catching 3.5.
That is the Phantom's Daily Dog. I am a little bit punchy this morning. Just, late night last night, Troy Trojans win the Sun Belt Conference Championship. They're going to the NCAA tournament. Again, Selection Sunday will be this Sunday, March the 15th. CBS will have it, make a big production. I actually like it. That'll be Sunday. Then some teams are going to be hot footing it out there. they to Dayton for the first four. That will be on Tuesday. That is the NCAA tournament. Technically, John still doesn't call it that.
Mhm.
Technically, the NCAA tournament begins a week from today, and the first round games will be a week from Thursday at different sites all over. I've got a listing of them, but that is the beginning of March Madness. And the Final Four will be held on April 4, 3 weeks away. Wow. April 4 at Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis, the national semifinals. The NCAA championship game will be April the 6th in Indianapolis. Now, those are the dates you need to know because, number one, the first round starts on Thursday morning. What have we figured, John? I got to look at, I'll know whenever.
11 o'clock, 11:10 maybe sounds familiar.
Yeah, whenever the brackets come out and CBS and True TV and TNT get to pick, which games want to go where, that's when we know the exact times. But we do know that from Selection Sunday, this Sunday, to the first round games on Thursday, you don't have a lot of time, but you've got enough to go ahead and get on record with Longshore and McKnight what your Final Four teams are going to be.
Yeah, it's big deal, Barry. It's the 4 for 4 in the Final Four, and this is what you need. You just pick the 4 teams that make the Final Four in this year's men's NCAA basketball tournament to win a 4-carat lab-grown diamond valued at well over $4,000 from our friends at Marguerite's Exquisite Jewelry. Lyle says it's closer to $5,000, but we kind of wanted to keep the theme of 4. Get it? 4 for 4 in the Final Four.
Yes.
4-carat diamond. Well over $4,000. I think you catch what we're doing here.
Yes.
Also, we need the total points scored in the championship game as a tiebreaker, and you could be the big winner. We'll make the announcement the Tuesday after the national championship game. It's on April the 6th. We'll announce the winner on Tuesday, April the 7th. Should be a lot of fun. Get your entries in beginning Sunday, March the 15th through Thursday, March the 19th at 11 a.m. Got to get them to us before 11 a.m. when the first game starts. We'll have it timestamped so we know what's going on. The 4 teams that make the Final Four, the total point score in the national championship game is a tiebreaker. It's brought to you by our good friends at Marguerite's Exquisite Jewelry, Bama Budweiser, Phoenix Physical Therapy, and the Montgomery Regional Airport. Make sure you get involved with that. It's going to be a ton of fun to keep that going and have a little action, so to speak, with the big tournament. So
yes,
should be fun. Looking forward.
Yeah, it's going to be great. We've kind of got a history with that. When we come back, a little bit more to get to before we hit the Gurn Jr. Victoryland 777 topic wheel. He's John Longshore. I'm Barry McKnight. It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
The Destin Connection Seafood Market at 3750 Norman Bridge Road in Montgomery has the freshest seafood direct from the Gulf of America. I'm talking red snapper and grouper, all sizes of Gulf shrimp, jumbo lump crab meat and crab claws, Louisiana Bay oysters, and New Bedford scallops. They are a full-service seafood market and kitchen serving po' boys, dinners, and sandwiches. You know, many well-known restaurants in the river region purchase their seafood from the Destin Connection because they know it's the absolute best. Call ahead and your order will be ready for pickup. The Destin Connection Seafood Market, 3750 Norman Bridge Road. Call 288-4272. That's 288-4272.
Hey, bro, weirdest thing is happening at the game. This guy sitting next to me says, "You're our good luck charm. Every time I crack a Bud Light, we score a touchdown. Now his entire family wants to buy me Bud Lights. I think I'm some kind of a football prophet. Talk soon. The team needs me."
Anything for Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Stock up today. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2025 Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Local banking expertise, the newest innovations and technology, personal attention, genuine hospitality. It's all just part of the Riverbank and Trust difference. They invite you to experience it for yourself. Welcome to banking above and beyond at River Bank and Trust. Locations throughout the River region, locations throughout the state of Alabama. River Bank and Trust. Okay, here we are back at it. Glad you're with us. About 22 minutes to the top of the hour. Barry, I know losing by 35 and being thoroughly dominated could do this to you. I'm looking at a picture at Bama 247, Bama Online, I think it used to be called, Bama 247, part of the 247 network, Barry. You know, as a lifetime member of Auburn Undercover, platinum level membership, I also get to lurk on other programs, websites as well. So I get to go to the Bama site that's part of 247. I'm looking at a picture. When you pop it out, the first thing you see is Kalen DeBoer and the number 5 edge rusher, Anthony Sweeney. I know nothing about Anthony Sweeney, but he's getting his picture taken with Kalen DeBoer. Is it just me, Barry, or has Kalen DeBoer lost a ton of weight? I know a 35-point loss will do it to you. I don't know if he's on the Ozempic, but this picture, I'm thinking, man, Kalen, you kind of trimmed up a little bit.
I didn't think he needed to, but yeah. Kalen has, I don't know, he's laid off the fried chicken or something like that.
If you look at a picture of him in his first season or his first spring, he was a little thicker than he is today.
Yeah.
No, I'm not complaining. I'm just noticing. No one wonders if anybody else notices.
Yeah, that's Bama 24/7. Picture right on the front. I'm looking at it right here. And this is the day and age of this type of a thing. Number 5 rated edge rusher, Anthony Sweeney.
Yep.
This is what the caption, the headline to the story says. Excited to see how other schools match up. Alabama begins busy spring slate for number 5 edge, Anthony Sweeney.
Yeah.
This is the day and age. You know what he's talking about, right? He's not talking about when he's quoted as say after his official visit to Alabama over the weekend. It's official visit season now. Anthony Sweeney says, excited to see how other schools match up. John, we're in the day and age where we know that he's not talking about facilities.
No,
he's not talking about, man, I really hope that they have a strong academic support service. I'm interested to see how everybody stacks up. What he's saying whenever he says, I'm excited to see how other schools match up, he's talking about he's talking about money. Alabama, yeah, blah, blah, blah. Nick Saban, this and that, script A, the elephant roar at the games,
sure.
blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, that's great.
How much you paying me? How much you paying me? Look, I'll visit. I'll go to the nice restaurant with the pretty girl, and we'll take a look around. I'll get to meet the star players on the star players. I'll get to meet some of the players on this team, but we can wrap this thing up in a half hour if you want.
So
how
much
money are you going to pay me?
Yeah, here's my thing, Barry, and I'm glad you brought this up because once again, Alabama's a 2 seed in the SEC tournament beginning this week. They don't play till Friday night.
Top 15 team in the country.
Yeah, we're going to be a 2 or 3 seed in the NCAA tournament.
Easily.
I'm reading about some edge rusher, some O-lineman, some receiver from Brentwood, Tennessee, speedy Peach State receiver, blah, 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 blah. Here's basketball. Down here toward the bottom. If I'm Nate Oates and I'm seeing that, I'm going, whoa, hold on. I've had a much better run lately than the football coach. Much better run than this coach over here that took this other team to a couple of Final Fours. I got his number, got his son's number too. And wait a minute, they're not even showing me any love. What about Alabama's basketball NIL and their ability to go out and get players like maybe some of the other schools? I've posed this question to Brian Matthews. Where is Auburn basketball in terms of NIL, things of that nature to attract the top talent? Where's Alabama? I mean, are they at the top? Because their program certainly has been. Is Alabama one of the top? Would you say Alabama basketball, since Nate Oates has been there, is one of the top 3 teams in the league?
Yeah. I would say one of the top 10 teams in the country. Well,
so
top 12
top
teams in the
money?
country.
Top 10 money? I mean, to me, if I'm Greg Byrne, I'm thinking, man, I'm lucky as I can be to keep this guy here.
John, he's
got an old, antiquated airport hangar for a facility to play in.
It's not about results. It's not about, oh, man, we need to give some NIL money, because I'm telling you, Patrick Murphy is getting it done with Alabama softball. He deserves more NIL money. It's like Clint Eastwood said when he was about to gun down Gene Hackman in Unforgiven. Deserve got nothing to do with it. You know what it is? It is, he is a CEO. He's thinking, man, I love the job Nate has done. He's been great. NIL money, we've got to spend it on football.
I mean, Barry, I don't know
if we don't get football right, it doesn't matter if Nate wins back-to-back NCAA championships.
Yeah. I don't know if Alabama, when they are on the road, stay at the finest hotel in Auburn like the Auburn team did when they were in Tuscaloosa last weekend. I don't know.
Here come the texts. John just said the finest hotel in Auburn. He's going to have about 17 texts giving examples of it. Microtel, the lamplighter.
Yeah.
But anyway, your point.
Yeah, I just wonder about it. So I'm hearing Greg Sankey yesterday. He was being interviewed by our friend Feinbaum on his program.
Yeah.
And he's talking about the little event they had at the White House on Friday. He mentioned a lot about streaming services, Barry.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Big on, almost
That's
to the extent that Sankey wouldn't have a problem if the SEC one day just said, look, we're going to go do our own thing and you're going to find us on streaming services. I thought, wow, man, that's kind of out there. That's a bold business move. But certainly he's in a position of strength with his 16 teams in this conference. I could certainly see that working. He also got off on a tangent about women's sports.
Oh, did he?
Olympic sports. And I get it. You're the commissioner of the conference. You got to love everybody. You got to promote every sport. The one thing he did not mention, though, Barry, is how they are going to financially how are they going to be able to financially sustain these programs without football? I mean, it's all great. I have nothing against women's sports and Olympic sports, but how are you going to pay for them? Never talks about that.
I'm very proud that you were able to get that from Greg Sankey. This is what he says, and John and I have mentioned this before. This is what he said, his visit, SEC Commissioner Greg Sankey visit with Paul Feinbaum. Quote, there is great frustration in my league that we have not been able to work collaboratively through some of the challenges or opportunities that we face. There's great frustration that as we go through the economic transition with our student athletes, we haven't better defined the boundaries, the guardrails, and held people to those, and we have a responsibility to that. And I think properly that's where our focus should be. How do we work with colleagues to solve problems? Can we do it collectively? If there's a point at which we cannot do so, I think the conversation that informs the question that you ask, is there something you do alone in terms of a potential breakaway? If you really listen hard and you have really got to listen
you do.
hard.
You do.
John, whenever we interview Greg Sankey, John sitting on the edge of his, seat, leaning forward. He's reading Greg's lips. Okay, I got it. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I understand that. Okay. Yeah, you're saying that. okay, I didn't really catch that part, but okay, yeah. But he's saying when he says, I think the conversation that informs the question you ask about a potential breakaway for the SEC and the Big Ten, is it something you do alone? I think that starts to generate more and more interest. But I think right now and for the medium term, we're certainly focused on how do we keep the opportunities connected in Division I while still making decisions that are effective for us. What he's saying is that, we're not against breaking away. It may end up happening.
Yep.
But as of right now, the lay of the land, until we figure out some of the bigger questions, we've got to hold tight with what we. Am I right there, John?
Well, you're getting a lot better, Barry, being able to read between the lines.
I mean, I'm getting a lot better being able to stay awake whenever he.
That's it. Well, Greg at least uses a lot of $5 words. Something Brian Jones dropped on us years ago. I mean, he's a smart man. There's no doubt about it, and he can use some language that you're going, whoa, wow, what was that? Let's get to the point. But as I deciphered it, Barry, streaming services, plenty of them out there.
Yes.
They'd love to carry the SEC and the Big Ten. Can we go break off and do our own thing? Yeah. You better believe it. And the other leagues don't want that to happen, but they get it. We can do it. And if we've got to be able to support women's athletics, non-revenue producing sports, men and women, we got to have a way to pay for it. We went through the numbers about a month ago. Alabama released their financial report, and I'm going, wait a minute. Football, basketball, okay, they're making money. Everything else, millions in the hole. Millions.
John's wondering, why do you even spend millions? Not make money, not make millions. Why do you even spend millions on women's cross country?
Yeah.
How do you spend it? I mean, you buy millions of dollars worth of track shoes? That type of a thing.
But very first and foremost, though, and I know Greg Burns, in Greg Sankey's ear, we got to get that media section moved first. Then we'll handle this next problem. That's number one on the list.
When we come back, the Gurn Jr. Victoryland 777 topic wheel. Our producer emeritus, Chris the Bammer, says we need to start the topic wheel.
At Dixie Overhead Door, we specialize in top quality garage door solutions for homes across Alabama and Georgia. In need of a garage door repair or a brand new garage door installation, our expert team delivers fast, reliable service with local expertise that you can trust, providing customized solutions and exceptional care every step of the way. Visit us today at DixieOverheadDoor.com and experience the Dixie difference.
You're not buying sticks, stems, and pine.
Don't miss your chance to win big at Victoryland Casino. Play the latest, hottest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. Don't miss out on your free play. Stop by Player Rewards today and check out this month's exciting free play promotions. Come see why our players keep coming back. You'll have more fun at Victoryland Casino, where you can be a winner too. Victoryland Casino, located off I-85 exit 22, Shorter, Alabama. Must be 21 or older.
Okay, back at it, 9 minutes to the top of the hour. The Gurn Jr. Victoryland 777 topic wheel is locked and loaded. I see it in the green room warming up, Barry. I believe we have 6 topics that we know nothing about. We're seeing them for the first time, as you are, the viewing and listening audience.
Brought to you by Victoryland 777 Casino, exit 22, I-85 Shorter, Alabama, where you can be a winner too. Yep. Let's light the candle here, Gurn. Here we go. Ooh. Gone Racing. Is this David Palmer?
I don't think so. Oh,
what?
Dogs.
Reindeer racing in Finland. Number one, don't live in Finland. It's freezing. You're basically, a reindeer is pulling in skis.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So there's a long distance reindeer.
Ooh, that could be cold.
I
got to think there's some wagering going on with this as well.
I was about to say, sub-freezing temperatures, Finland near the Russian border, 164 miles northeast of the city of Oulu, Finland, reindeer racing. Going on since the 1950s, the head of Salo Reindeer Cup. Back then, men spent winters in the forest. There were no snowmobiles. Reindeer were in great shape. They started racing them. And it's interesting because you're not riding the reindeer. Basically, you put reins on them and you got your skis.
Yeah, they're pulling you.
Yeah, let me get Donder in the third race. let me get Donder.
Can you get a trifecta
place?
Can you box them? Huh.
I thought the show. Yeah.
You know what I thought that was going to be? I saw yesterday they are running an Indy race in the nation's capital on the 4th of July. They're going to block the streets of Washington off during the 4th of July and have an Indy race. They showed the car, the big 250th anniversary birthday of our country. I understand DC is going to be crazy during the 4th of July. They're having all kind of festivities to celebrate the 250th.
Anyway,
is that when they're having the big WWE fight on the North Lawn or something? I think I heard about that.
What?
Too, yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
How about him?
All right.
Here we go. 10 years over.
Yeah.
Who got fired?
Who did?
Mike Evans. One of the great wide receivers in NFL history that nobody ever pays attention. He's been 12 years with the Buccaneers. Tobias, you got to let us know these things.
No kidding.
He's caught for 1,000 yards in all 12 of his years. Won a Super Bowl. He didn't get 1,000 yards receiving this year because he got hurt. But now he's signing a 3-year deal with the 49ers. There's 49ers. A couple of things that are interesting. Evans to the 49ers is a big deal. He's truly great. Also, Super Bowl MVP Kenneth Walker III, the running back for the Seahawks. He leaves the Seahawks.
Barry, is that Kenny Skywalker?
He is with the Chiefs now.
Remember him from Kentucky? Kenny Skywalker? Okay. Yeah. All right. Want to make sure.
This is Kenneth Walker the third.
Did Evans play collegiately at A&M?
Yes.
Okay.
How in the world? John doesn't know where his keys are right now, but he remembers Kenny Skywalker from Kentucky, who's probably about 48 now. He ain't walking those skies anymore.
Okay, what do we got left? 4 more to go. Yellow, red, blue, and green on the Gurn Junior Victoryland 777 topic wheel. Victoryland, open 365, 24/7. You can be a winner too.
Would you like to tie me up with your ties?
Tie.
Oh, yeah. We mentioned this. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander for the Thunder. They didn't cover, but, that's good. This is what Shea Gilgeous-Alexander did last night. He has now hit for 20-plus points in a record 126 straight games. It's been 126 games, and he has scored 20 points or more. He is becoming one of the great players in NBA history. In this game, 35 points, 15 assists, no turnovers in the game.
My question, Barry, is how does a player of his caliber stay at a small market team and not end up in L.A.?
Yeah, I don't know. Well, that probably is going to end up happening. Again, his nephew, Javier, plays for Troy, and they're from Canada. Javier got to the yeah.
Didn't Troy also have a player? Did they have a guy? Wasn't it Snoop Dogg's nephew or something played at Troy?
All right, this is surreal now. How is John bringing up Kenny Skywalker and the fact that 13 years ago, Troy had a cornerback from Corona, California named Trey Hall, who was Snoop Dogg's nephew.
I thought I remembered that.
I got to tell you, Snoop Dogg very likely has a bunch of nephews.
Sure, probably.
He's probably got a bunch of uncles and aunties and second cousins and godchildren and all that kind of stuff, too, because Snoop is worth about $1 billion. But the real story there is John remembered that obscure nugget. He only played at Troy for a year.
Yeah.
Off the top of his head.
Yeah. I can't explain it.
I cannot explain it. All right.
All right, 3 more to go. Let's see what we got. Yep. Blue, yellow, red is left on the Victoryland topic wheel. It's going to land on the red panel.
Take us home. Us is U.S., and that's capitalized. Take us home. Yeah, Aaron Judge and Roman Anthony. Roman Anthony is he was a rookie last year for the Red Sox. This is Judge, who goes about 6'7", 280, going the opposite way against the Mexicans. And then Roman Anthony, who's going to be a star in this league. Judge is big.
Look at that crowd. Wait a minute. No way that many people are at this game. No way.
Huge. I'm telling you, the WBC is a big deal. Like John said, that's in Houston.
You won't see a crowd that large in a Braves game this year, unless the Cubs are in town.
Yep. 41,620. Down at the bottom of Gurn's screen there. He said the game in Houston was played in front of a sellout crowd of 41,628 that was decidedly pro-Mexico.
Well, you have it. You know why? Because of some. Well, I'm not going to get into
No. It was just worth noting.
Yeah, worth noting.
Here we go.
Two more green cards when they anyway. Two more to go. Let's spin away. Let's see where it lands. Looks like
Big Money Monday.
Big Money Monday.
Yeah, the Raiders and the Titans. Free agency began on Monday. We mentioned that Tua signed a deal with the Falcons. $2.3 billion in contract money. So let's see. The biggest one out of this, Mike Evans. Okay, probably the biggest name. Raiders center Tyler Linderbaum, who was with the Ravens for so many years, maybe the best center in the league. Raiders are spending some money. Panthers sign edge Jalen Phillips for $30 million. John, have you ever heard of Jalen Phillips in your life?
No.
Good. Okay, I don't feel so bad.
I have not.
One more. Here we go.
One more to go. Got to spin it to make it official. It's the last panel on the Gurn Jr. Victoryland 777 topic wheel. I believe it's the blue panel. It normally is the blue one that's left at the end of the day. We'll spin it just to make it official, so the judges will be happy.
My man.
My man Punch. Is it? My man Punch.
Yes.
All right, let's see what we got. A monkey.
That's a monkey, a Japanese macaque. He has fixated upon this small orangutan plushie at the Ichikawa City Zoo.
Yeah,
that evidently is his jam. That orange orangutan plushie. Takes it everywhere he goes.
Yeah, everybody needs a friend, I guess.
Yeah, sometimes they're inflatable. Oh no, I'm sorry. Sometimes they're plushies.
Yeah. That's exactly right.
Within weeks, he clutches around the zoo, cuddles with it while he sleeps, never leaves it, can't go to bed without his orange orangutan plushie. And I'm telling you, social media loves that macaque named Punch.
Punch. All right.
Videos circulating online are showing other monkeys shoving Punch, leaving him only his emotional support toy as a comfort. John, I didn't realize this. Punch is a nerd.
Come on.
Yeah, bullied by the other
dorky monkey. All right. I want to thank Brian Matthews, AuburnSports.com, for joining us today. Connor O'Gara from OG Kickoff joining us as well. Tomorrow, our man CJ Duncan, Yellowhammer News, will join us. Josh Harris, the Moneyline Magician. Get ready, Theotis. He's coming up tomorrow. And the SEC tournament starts tomorrow.
Guess where I'll be tonight? Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Pensacola last night, Tuscaloosa tonight. Troy baseball against the Crimson Tide at Sewell Thomas Stadium at 6 o'clock. I'll give you a report.
Bama come to Troy. I saw Bama came to Alabama State last week.
Yeah, they come to Troy, I think, in a month or so.
Okay.
He's John Longshore. I'm Barry McKnight. It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.